Well, let's go ahead and get started,
Okay.
if that's okay. How about you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay. I'm Michelle Johnston, and I'm a grad student here at William Jewell. I've been taking classes now for almost 2 years. Last year I did the artist certificate in choral conducting, and before this I was a pianist at home. I've taught in multiple different areas in the community and preschool and different things like that. So this is my getting back into higher education, and this year I am doing the MAT program, so I am a grad student doing my master's degree to get my teacher's certificate. So I'm doing fieldwork in the classroom at the elementary school this semester, and next year I will do secondary.
And you're graduating this semester as well, right?
I'm graduating next May after that full year of student teaching.
Well, I'm very excited to see what all you bring to the future classroom.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and start talking about mindfulness in the classroom. As music education students, right now we're in a place where we're having to think about the future and what kind of we want our environment to look like, and also ourselves as an educator. So I asked you to start this interview talking about mindfulness. How would you personally define mindfulness, and how would you apply it to music education?
Okay, I love that you asked me about mindfulness, because this is actually something that I've been practicing for a while. I know a little bit more about than I do some of the other topics in music education. So mindfulness is basically being aware of our thoughts and our feelings and how that affects our everyday, how we're reacting to our surroundings. So think of like, if there's something that you're feeling anxious about, being able to think through and understand it from a different perspective to know, how can I help myself in this situation, either feel better or think differently to be able to react the best way. So mindfulness is basically that awareness, that outside experience of understanding how we can affect ourselves, even though we can't affect our circumstances.
Mm-hmm. And how would you use that in music education?
Okay, so this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, really, but I'd been thinking about it, how can we use mindfulness in our performance techniques? But now I'm thinking about it from the educator's perspective. And so in a classroom, I feel like there's so many different ways that you could use teaching about mindfulness, how you can use music to teach mindfulness. And you can also really affect the mood in your classroom by using music. And we know that, right? We understand that. But if we can take it that step farther to actually tell the kids what you're doing and why you're doing it. So if you're using, say, any type of music that calms, you can talk about how this is something that you can do in your everyday life too. Are you thinking differently once you come in and you kind of take them through maybe yoga poses, or you take them through a breathing routine, or you take them through anything that's going to be able to help them to think about their thoughts and be more aware of what they're thinking and feeling, and then going that step farther to teach them how to do that on their own. And I think sometimes we can use music to associate responses, right? So like, you think about even just our normal day, everyday responses. If you think about Sweet Caroline, to me, that makes me think of baseball, right? So if you have certain types of genres of songs that are calming, you can have them relate to feelings of self-worth, feelings of being okay, feelings of calm, those different aspects of life. You can have music relating to different senses of being.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
How would you integrate mindfulness into warm-ups or daily routines? I think we did kind of touch about that, but maybe just going the step forward and talking about warm-ups and daily routines in the music classroom.
Yeah, well, as I said before, so music can really enhance our emotions, right? So we kind of talked about the calmness and those kinds of things, but it could really enhance any emotion that we're having. So if we're really excited and happy about something, say that the Chiefs won the World Series, we're going to use music to enhance those feelings, right? We can actually use music to talk about our feelings about if something is fearful. So we're not just going to repress and try to change the feeling, but we're actually going to feel the feelings that we're feeling deeply about, fear of the future or fear of a tornado or fear of whatever it is, we can use music to dispel and to talk through those feelings instead of repressing them. Yeah, that's my whole thought process, is how can we incorporate or use music. And you're done saying here. Oh, okay. So one of the ways that I was thinking through how I do this in my classroom, say you have a 4th grade class that just came from PE and they're really hyper and active, right? That's going to be a different scenario than if you have a 3rd or 2nd grade class that just took a math test. They're going to come in and they're going to need some energy. So you're going to want, some more lively songs that are going to energize them and give them, that excitement and focus to be able to then learn music and do other things. So those are going to be 2 different ways that you could use music to be mindful about how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and let's take that to the next level of focus and come together.
I haven't thought about using music as a transition from like the outside classroom into the music classroom. But how do you think mindfulness can contribute to a student's long-term musical and personal growth?
Okay, I love this. And we did touch on this briefly earlier, right? So if we're just teaching something, we're just teaching, XYZ, we're just teaching about quarter notes, or we're just teaching the beat, that's awesome. But if we go that step farther and teach the beat and teach the quarter notes and all of the things, but then we also take that 2 to 3 minutes at the end and talk about what are the lyrics of this piece? What are they telling us? What are they teaching us? And choose really, really good, uplifting, well-recorded music that can actually help us to feel and think differently, and actually, be open about, hey, this music is going to help you to feel this way. This music is going to help you to feel this way. And now in your personal life, you can use this music to help yourself, right? So just going that step farther of actually giving them the tools instead of just letting them experience them in the music classroom, but giving them the tools for what they can do with that knowledge about their thoughts and their feelings and how that music is making them feel, and just giving them really great, giving them the tools to know how to choose good music, right? Like, there's a lot of really not great music out there. And so I think that showing by example and modeling how to choose good music that lifts our spirits, or that helps us to feel our feelings deeper and helps us to then, move on from whatever it is we're experiencing, because we were able to feel those feelings deeper through good music.
What advice would you give to other music educators who want to incorporate mindfulness into their teaching, who have not yet gotten the opportunity to?
So we can't teach anything if we don't know it and understand it ourselves. So I think that the first thing would be just to research methods of mindfulness, whether that looks like meditation, whether that looks like reading essays or books about being mindful, and then practicing it in your everyday use, right? Seeing where am I getting anxious? What am I and then kind of taking that step back of, here are my 2 options. I can go this way or I can go this way. I can think and feel about something differently simply by understanding what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. And that takes practice and hard work. And I'm not an expert on it. I like to practice it, but I still feel anxious. I still feel fear. I still feel, all of the feelings. But I know where to go. I have the tools in place that I know that I can use. And I actually practice things so that in the future, when I am experiencing those difficult feelings and emotions, I know what to do. Just even some of the like phrases that you can use. I am safe, right? Like, I am loved. So using different tools will help you as a person be able to understand mindfulness, so that then you can use those tools, those one-liners, the music that helps you, and teach that to your kids.
Do you think that part of this mindfulness technique would be being open about performance anxiety and nerves and maybe the more negative feelings that we have with our students?
100%. And there's I've talked to a couple different people about this idea of mindfulness and changing your thoughts. And I don't necessarily think we can change our thoughts. I think that we can learn to incorporate different tools, use tools that we have to help our emotions to handle those thoughts. And I think that if we know how to use mindfulness, we can go, okay, what am I thinking? And what are different options for me to think next? I think that is mindfulness, right? Recognizing and realizing what thoughts we are thinking, and then being able to choose what thoughts go next, so that then that emotion that comes next is something that I've chosen better. So yeah, what was the initial question that you just said? You said...
No, you're fine. Do you believe that being open about the more negative feelings that we have?
Oh yeah, that's right,
be...
the negative feelings. So yes, I think that talking through, well, not even just talking through, thinking through, recognizing I am feeling fear, I am feeling anxious, and then going, okay, so I have a choice here. Well, say that there is a tornado warning. So my choice is to do some research and see if the tornado is actually in our area, and then if it is, get to a safe space. Those are my options, right? Or I can just run around and be anxious and not do anything and just feel kind of crazy and not in control.
Mm-hmm.
We can't always control our surroundings, right? And that we understand that. But maybe there might be an option to put on some calming music to take us to a place of, more calm. Or it might be, I actually need this adrenaline to get me to a safer place. And calm is not what I need right now. And I think teaching the kids that we don't always have to repress our negative energy, because sometimes we need that negative energy to get us to the next space that is safety, that is right in control. So yes, being open about the negative feelings and letting them express those in a respectful, open way will help them to be more accepting of others when they're feeling those negative emotions. And also as we, because we'll need it in the classroom for sure to have that community, but we also need it in our everyday relationships with our families.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Michelle.
You're
This
welcome.
has been a lovely, lovely, and very insightful interview. I can't wait to see what other people gain from this, what they share about it. And do you have any other comments that you would like to make at the end?
No, just if you hear back from anybody, please share with me.
Of course we will.
Because I love to learn.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.